So there's been demonstrations out in the street all day, so we found somebody who was out there to ask what actually happened. So, what happened out in the streets today?
Well, that's kind of a difficult question. A lot was happening out in the streets today. A lot was happening on lots of different streets today. And I can only tell you what happened on a tiny, tiny fraction of them.
What did you experience?
Well, my experience at first was just marching from here down to Trafalgar Square, arriving at Trafalgar Square and attempting to get to Parliament Square. On arrival, the entire place was flooded with riot police. It was basically, we'll arrange a protest, we'll give you the place to have it, that's fine, and we'll just fill it with police, and when you get there we'll instantly kettle you. So no one really stayed there. Different protests moved on in different directions, lots of groups split off. I think it's been described by everyone as cat and mouse, and that's basically what it was. It was different groups of protesters trying to preempt what the police were going to do, and the police trying to preempt what protesters were going to do.
So lots of running around, and did anyone do anything while running around, or was it just...
Lots of demonstrating in different places, blocking different streets. I didn't see any particular direct actions happening, but I saw lots of groups gathering, chanting, and I mean, I was protesting with a samba group, so we were just going basically from area to area, group to group, protest to protest, just playing, getting some energy, helping them break through police lines, and just being there.
So the police, were kind of caught off guard on the first demonstration, and now they've been quite repressive. What do you think of this police strategy?
I think it's a backlash, really. It's just a reaction of, we failed, now we need to prove ourselves. And it is partly because there is this perception of the way that student protesters are going to behave after Millbank, which means they've got this, they do have this conviction that they need to stop all protests, including the peaceful side of the protests. And there's also, I think, that most of all, it's a pride issue. It's people saying, we failed to stop violence once, now quick, let's cause as much as we possibly can.
So the police historically have been awful to demonstrators, but I think there's a few climate legal cases in the G20 where they actually killed somebody, and they've been much more backed off. But that backing off has disappeared. Now they're right in people's faces again.
I mean, today I saw a policeman grab a man who'd been trying to break through police lines, push him into another man with a bike and punch him in the face. I mean, that's not really peaceful and organised policing. It's, of course, it's got much, much worse recently. I mean, I know that the protests last week were policed by the same people who policed the G20, the same commanders. So it's almost more like the police are saying, okay, we've been criticised for G20, but I think we did the right thing, let's just keep doing it. I don't think they ever really backed off.
Okay. So where are these demonstrations going? Where do you think they're going to go next?
Well, that's a really big, really difficult question. If I want to think optimistically, I think they're going to keep getting bigger. I think they're going to keep getting more meaningful. I think more and more people are going to be drawn into it, and I think it's going to be quite an exciting movement. But if I want to talk pessimistically, I think it might be that once we've built to the vote, depending on what happens, that might kill a lot of the energy. It depends whether it's going to be tied to the wider cut struggle or whether it's going to be just an issue of tuition fees, and once that issue's under the table, it'll be forgotten. I really, really, really hope that's not the case, because what I felt today was that there was a lot of people politically awakening for the first time, and I think something could really come of that, which could be good just for the political education of our whole generation.
What do you think of the Lib-Con government? They've it's kind of very controversial what they're up to.
You could say that. I think most of all, I have a problem with a lot of things they do. I'm probably not as radical as most of the people in this movement, but I feel that what they're doing is taking apart one of the most important parts of British society. It's cuts as deep and bad as Thatcher's, basically, and the British people didn't accept them then, and I don't think they'll accept them now. And I think most of all the problem is that the Lib Dems' behaviour is alienating people to democracy. It's alienating people to the idea that you vote for a party and they live up to their mandates. And you've got so many young people who are coming into politics for the first time, and instead of thinking that they can affect change through their representatives, they're thinking we need to break the whole system, which is a very, very dangerous idea to be spreading. It's maybe a good idea, maybe a bad idea, but either way.
So what's happening here at this particular space?
What's happening here is we've got a sit-in going. It's one of a wave of sit-ins across London and across the UK. We've got varying numbers of people. I think like a group of about 20-30 core people, and then people from all over the university who just come. We spend time here, we sleep here, we hold the space. We use it for talks, education, discussion, debate, planning. And what we're trying to do is partially to use this as a space for movement, partially to put pressure on our management to come out and openly condemn the cuts, and to also for greater financial transparency within the school.
Okay, so if you were speaking to other students, what would you say, other students in the UK and around the world, what would you say they need to do? What's the most important thing? That's a very, very difficult one, but I think it's a complete cliche. I want to say that they should be showing solidarity, that we should all, whatever. The worst thing that we can do is start fighting each other, disagreeing about tactics, disagreeing about different levels of positions. I think right now we all need to be together, and we all need to really feel it's part of a movement, and if that actually works, it could change history, I think. Thank you very much. Okay, let's see what's coming up next on Vision on TV.